All right, welcome back to part 2 of 2. If you guys have not watched the first part of setting up the campaign on Propeller ads, survey offers, sweepstakes offers, I suggest you go back and watch part 1 if you haven't, because you may get confused on part 2 here. So in this video, I'm going to just cover how to track the campaigns properly and be able to optimize and find the winning publisher IDs, the site IDs, what devices that they're on, what browser types, and so on. So you're gonna be able to see everything. I'm gonna break everything down in this video, and it'll all make sense. So stick with me to the end. So without further ado, let's jump into the computer, and I'll see you there. All right, guys. So welcome to part 2 of creating a survey offer, sweepstakes offer on Propeller ads, and this is going to be how to track and optimize your campaign that you just created from part 1. If you didn't watch part 1, I highly suggest you go and watch part 1 just to avoid any kind of confusion. But if you have watched part 1, let's get right into this. So with your Propeller ads campaign, the one that you just created, you would go back into the tracker. You let it run for a day or two to see how the conversions are being generated. And you go back into the tracker and you find out where your campaign was by your campaign. Search by the campaign name, whatever the campaign name was that you used to create the campaign. You go back into the tracker. In my case here, where I used it is right here. So it's a free cash Propeller ads. This is on my account. So this was in May. I think I ran this for about a couple weeks in May. But we're just May 1st to May 31st just to be safe. I just, using the whole month here. It's been a while since I ran it. It's a couple months ago. So here's the total amount of leads. So we got 200 leads right here for a total of $500. And when I first ran it, it was on this campaign right here. So what happens is you go and click. I'm going to explain all this to you guys, by the way, with all the individualized, because you're seeing a whole bunch of the free cash with a bunch of numbers and stuff. I'm going to explain that. But when I ran it completely broad, meaning that I ran a whole ton of publishers all at once. This will all make sense once it's all put together. It'll make sense. So what happens is when you create that campaign, you let it run for a few days or a week, however you decide you want to run it. You go and click on report. You can check this at any time, but you go and click on report, and obviously I'm using the volume tracker here for demonstration purposes. You go to report, and then you'll see this pop up here. Right here, you click on offers. And then you scroll down, you click on zone ID, hit the check mark. And what's gonna happen is we're gonna see all these, where you see the green right there, those are all the ones that are making money. Those are all in the profit. The red are the ones that are costing us money. So we're obviously gonna keep throwing more money at the ones that are making money, right? Like this one right here, maybe $24. I had 15 of them. 15 people put their email when they signed up. I think it's just an email submit, so when somebody just puts their email or answer a couple questions after whatever the criteria is in order to be paid. 15 people submitted that information, and I got paid $23.95 just on this widget alone. Let's go ahead and I'm just going to go ahead and filter out by conversions itself. So like 15 conversions right here, 5 right here, 4 right here, 4 of these, and these are zone IDs. I'm gonna explain those here in a minute, but I just want to show you. See all these right here? It's money, 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 money. This one right here, we're minus $3.37. Even though it generated 3 conversions, it still costed us money. We could still be in the profit if we search maybe the time of day, the device type, the operating system versions, and all those things. You could still maybe make it profitable, but it's still negative nonetheless. These ones are all green. This one's minus 81 cents. These are all still green. And it's still going all the way down. There was only one conversion on a bunch of these down here, but they're still in the green. They're still making us money. So we're going to use those. Some of these we can still run, unless it's like deep in the red. This one's not good. That's a bad one. Minus $4. Only one conversion. I'm not sure if I want to run that. But these ones right here, still in the green. So we would be running all these, right? Because it's making money. If it's making money, we keep throwing more money into it, right? So this one right here, for example, this zone ID 6534229. These are all masked as websites. They don't tell you exactly which website that you're using to advertise on, because I think that they fear that it's going to take you off their platform. You'll just go to the advertiser directly or the website directly. You'll see find the website owner, just advertise through them, and you won't even use Propeller ads. I think that's why they mask those. But these are websites, real websites right here. So, and it's social traffic, but we don't know exactly what sites that they're being advertised on. Because I think if they tell you, they fear that you're gonna leave the advertising network and just go to the website owner directly and just pay them, maybe even get it cheaper. So I think that's why they cover that up. That's masked in numbers. This could be Facebook.com for all we know. But we see after you ran it for a few days, a week, or however long you've ran it, you go in the tracker, you look, find the zone IDs, you'll see if they're in the green, if they're the red. The tracking has to be set up properly too. Make sure that all of it's set up properly. We go back over here, and you can see what I did with these. I individualized all these. So I ran them each one by one. 6534229. Okay, that's this right here. So we can see I spent $76. I actually don't. What happens is you'll see all this is in the red, but that's because I didn't put a conversion pixel in the network. I don't do that because what happens is that if they see that I'm making a ton of conversions on this website, they can tell other affiliates that, hey, we know that this is working. If they provide them a whitelist, for example, the whitelist is where they think traffic is going to convert best. They can see, oh, this affiliate had, what did I have? 15 conversions over here, so we know sweepstakes are working well on this widget. That's why I don't do that. But it's still profitable, and you can see it in the tracker. I just don't let the network know. But this one right here, so what I did was when I found that this was making the most money, and these are all working too, I come back over here and I create a campaign. This is how I do this. I individualize these, or you can bundle them up all together and just create one campaign of an entire whitelist. It's up to you on how you want to do that. But to optimize, I would come over here and I create a campaign name. I'd name it, I just put the publisher ID just so I can remember it better. And then, Android free cash, optimized ID, however you want to name it, whatever you want. I'm just, as an example. So we run that. Pop traffic, same exact thing. Cost per mile, social traffic. When you create a new campaign on here, you do the same thing as I said in the other video. We'll put the target URL and the campaign URL in here, something like this. It'll be a new one. It's because it's a new campaign designated for just that publisher's zone ID. Same exact thing, once for 24 hours, high intent. I'm not going to go type all this in because it's the same thing. The only thing that we're going to really change is that we're going to go to, oh, I don't know what happened there. I don't know what just happened. Oh, targeting. Okay, I messed up there. So Android, what we're going to do is we're going to figure out which version that this was on. So what we do with this publisher ID, we know that it's generated us $24 in profit, right? So we go check this. and we'll go to a drop down here, and we'll go to the second box, and we're going to click on operating system versions, because we know it's on an Android. So we go click on this arrow right here, we'll get a drop down, and we can see which Android versions are making the most money. So 14, Android 14 is crushing it. Android 15 is doing pretty well. Android 13, 10, a little bit of data. It's making money, but it's the weakest one out of all of them, I think. Actually, this one's pretty bad. We know Android 12 is costing us money. So we would just load all these, like Android 14, 15, 13, 10, 11, 8, 8.1, 9, and Fire operating system. I don't know how that fell through. I don't know if that's part of Android. I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's part of Android. I don't know. I don't know how that fell through. I wasn't advertising on Fire operating system, but hey, it's making money. So we would just go back in here and we would just select all those versions that were making us money. We just put them all in here. The browser, and that's another thing I want to go look through here is the browsers. So we would just drop it down even more. Go to the browsers, 643229, and and by the way, do this on all these too. You do them on all of them. All the ones that are in green, you do the same thing. I'm just using this because it's the top one that's making the most. But if it's making money, you do that through every single one of these. It's time consuming, but that's part of running an online business. That's part of it. You have to, you can't be lazy with your marketing. But once it's done, it's automated. You do the work once, and then you just kind of go and monitor it every now and then. That's it. You do the work once, and then it's pretty much it. But we go back over here. So we're filtering the zone IDs, the operating system versions, and then the browser. Very important. So we can see Chrome is doing very well on Android 14. Everything else is not making anything. Android right here. Firefox is obviously working. And Chrome, you just look through them all. Chrome, everything else is kind of so-and-so or not converting. And we just check all those. I don't know where Fire operating system came from. I don't know where that is. I don't know what that is. So it looks like Chrome and Firefox are the winners on this, right? So we filter that down even more and then eliminate all the other browsers that aren't generating any money. So we filter them out, and so we can, keep making that money. Make more of it. That's the goal. So we come back down over here. We go to Firefox. We're going to target Firefox and Google Chrome, and that's it. And get rid of everything else because everything else is costing us money. Browser language. We're going to go to English. And we know they're on a Wi-Fi. We don't have to deal with the 3G light. Just Wi-Fi only. And everything else is the same. Oh, sorry about that. We got to go over here. We got to copy and paste. 6534229. We're going to include, because that's the only publisher ID for this campaign. So every publisher ID that's working, you create a separate campaign. In other words, if you have 30 publisher IDs that are cranking out money, you need to create 30 separate campaigns. I would do that. You can bundle them all together if you want and just wait it out. But like I said, don't be lazy with your marketing. I like to just individualize them once I see that they're making money. That's the way I do it. But a lot of people are like, oh my God, that's so time consuming. That's a lot of work. Well, that's part of running a business, I want to squeeze out every little cent that I possibly can. That's why you do it this way. That's the best way to do it, in my opinion. And I've done this, like I said, I've done online marketing for years. I've done it for for the last 5.5, 9 years actually. But I started really taking it seriously in the middle of 2019. That's how. But altogether, as a collective, I've done over 800,000. So I've ran plenty of ads, guys. I know what I'm talking about. And we just do this, just like that, and then you hit start, and that's it. And then you do that for all of them. And by the way, if you guys have any comments, just drop them down below, and I'll get to them as soon as I can. If you have any questions, in case if I miss something, or if you have any questions about how to set it up or whatnot, just in case. I believe that that's it. Just want to make